All right, so there's a new player stepping into the ring in the Cosmos ecosystem, and it's looking to solve some of the biggest headaches in crypto. It's a Layer 1 blockchain called Poxy. Today, we're going to dig in and see what it's all about.
I know what you're thinking. Do we really need another blockchain? I mean, seriously, there are thousands of them out there. But, it's a valid question, and the answer, well, it really gets to the heart of a few major problems that just won't seem to go away. You've probably seen this movie before, right? High fees, super slow transactions, and just complexity. A lot of the big-name blockchains, they still grapple with this stuff. You try to make a swap, and the gas fee is insane, or it takes forever to confirm. This is exactly why there's always a hunt for the next big thing, something faster, cheaper, and just easier to work with. Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll touch on that big blockchain problem. Then, we'll introduce Paxy as the potential solution. After that, we'll dive into its key tools, check out the real advantages and uses, and wrap up with the challenges it's facing. Sound good? Let's go. All right, Section 1, the big blockchain problem. So let's really get into why projects like Paxy even exist in the first place. It all comes down to this classic, kind of tricky challenge in engineering. You've probably heard of this before. It's called the blockchain trilemma. The basic idea is that it's just really, really hard to have a network that's lightning fast, rock-solid secure, and completely decentralized all at the same time. You almost always have to trade one for the others. And that constant tug of war, that's exactly where those annoying high fees and slow transactions come from.
And that's our cue to bring in Paxy. This is a project that was literally built from the ground up to take on this trilemma, and it's doing it inside one of the most interesting spaces in crypto, the Cosmos ecosystem. So Paxy is a Layer 1. Now that's a super important detail. Think of it like the foundation of a skyscraper. It's not an apartment built on someone else's foundation. It is the foundation. It's the base-level network that handles everything, validating its own transactions and securing itself, just like the big guys, Bitcoin and Ethereum.
So what's Paxy made of? Well, it's built using the Cosmos SDK and the Comet BFT consensus engine. These are basically powerhouse, battle-tested toolkits that let you build your own custom blockchains that can talk to each other. And with that strong foundation, Paxy has a really clear goal: to be the #1 spot for DeFi, NFTs, and smart contracts by being super scalable and cheap to use.
Okay, time to pop the hood and see what this thing is really packing. Let's get into the toolkit that Paxy offers developers, because honestly, this is where it starts to get pretty cool.
Right off the bat, Paxy has a solid developer's toolkit. For smart contracts, it's using Cosmosm, which means developers can build with the Rust programming language, which is known for being really secure. It's got its own native token standards, PRC20 for your typical fungible tokens and PRC721 for NFTs. Plus, there's support with SDKs and APIs for languages devs already love, like JavaScript and Python. But, see that last item on the list, a built-in AMM? That's the secret sauce right there. Okay, a built-in automated market maker, or AMM. Why is that a big deal? Well, let me put it this way. Most other blockchains are like a bank. If you want to exchange currency, they tell you, sorry, you got to go to that third-party exchange booth down the street. Paxy, on the other hand, built a currency exchange counter right inside the bank lobby. It's not some separate thing you have to go find. It's a fundamental part of the blockchain itself.
And this table just lays it out perfectly. Because that AMM is a native part of the chain, not some external smart contract you have to call, everything just gets way more efficient. We're talking faster swaps, lower fees, the whole experience is smoother. You're dealing directly with the core machinery of the blockchain, which cuts out all the extra steps and costs you normally have.
So we've gotten pretty deep into the tech, the how of it all. But now let's talk about the why. What does this actually mean for you, for me, for anyone who's going to use this thing?
The first thing is just raw speed. We're talking thousands of transactions per second. That kind of performance is what separates a sleepy country road from a 6-lane superhighway. You need that kind of bandwidth to support a thriving ecosystem without everything grinding to a halt. And here's the kicker. It promises all that speed with very low transaction fees. That combo, super fast and super cheap, is pretty much the holy grail, especially for things like DeFi and NFTs, where you're constantly making lots of little transactions. So what can you build with this? Well, it opens the door for pretty much anything. You can imagine DEXs, lending platforms, huge NFT marketplaces, blockchain games, you name it. And the best part? it's not stuck on its own island. Because it's built in the Cosmos ecosystem, it can use the IBC protocol to connect and trade with hundreds of other chains. It's part of a huge interconnected web of blockchains.
Okay, but let's pump the brakes for a second and be real. Having awesome tech is great, but that's only half the story. Paxi has a seriously steep mountain to climb if it wants to make it.
When you look at it, there are really 4 big hurdles ahead. 1. It's brand new, so it has to prove it won't break under pressure. It needs to show it's reliable. 2. The competition is absolutely brutal. You've got heavyweights like Osmosis, Sei, and Injective already in the ring. 3. The tokenomics have to be just right, enough to incentivize people, but not so much that it becomes centralized. And 4, the biggest one of all, adoption. If developers don't build on it and users don't show up with their money, then none of the other stuff matters.
So when you boil it all down, it comes to this. Paxi has a ton of potential. The tech is smart, the foundation is solid, but potential is just potential. It all comes down to execution. They have to build a passionate community and, most importantly, actually deliver on that promise of being fast, cheap, and reliable when lots of people are using it.
Which, of course, leaves us with the million-dollar question. Does Paxi have what it takes to win? I mean, it's got the unique tech with that built-in AMM, and it's in a great neighborhood with the Cosmos ecosystem. But in this incredibly crowded race, is that enough to stand out and become a real contender? We'll have to wait and see.